Welcome to another episode of the Loafing Around podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things Pokemon. And each week I am joined by a unique guest that is known in the Pokemon community, be it a VGC player, game analyst, TCG player, or Pokemon theorist, and so on, to hang out with them and ask them some questions about their passions, opinions, and experiences with the Pokemon franchise. I am your host, SP, a longtime Pokemon fan and a Pokemon content creator. Today, I am joined by a Pokemon content creator that infuses both Pokemon and Nintendo content in general with pop culture, science, and various schools of thought. He is a phenomenal artist, a wise mind, and a fun creator, and I cannot wait for you all to meet them. And we're back. Welcome to the show, the super creative Tam Valley Productions. Thank you so much for joining me today. And how are you
I'm
doing?
doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, super excited to have you on. So, like I said earlier, Tam is super good at mixing Pokemon with different schools of thought and even pop culture. Two super cool examples of this are his retrospectives of the Pokemon games and what if Avatar The Last Airbender characters had Pokemon. So, do you want to talk a little bit more about your videos, kind of those videos, how you come up with your ideas, things like that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like my channel is definitely harder to kind of identify because I'm not like exclusively like a theory channel or a Pokemon art channel. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
kind of I mean, honestly, one of my viewers summed it up best in my Discord a few weeks ago. He was like, I think it's cool that Tam just makes videos about like his hobbies essentially. And like that's kind of how I've always seen it. Like it's literally whatever pops into my brain about Pokemon, whatever interesting question I have, I'll just be like, all right, I'm writing that down. That's going to be a video someday. So that's how, stuff like the Avatar series came to be. Even some of my art videos are purely based off of like random questions I ask myself. Like, what if there was a Pokemon based off of X?
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's a really good, thing for people to know if they're starting out on YouTube. Like, when you have an idea, just write it down. Like, I have a huge amount of notes on my phone that's just, like, random ideas that I had during the day, and I'm like, "That could be a video." Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I just type it down real fast,
No,
yeah.
man, that's the way to go. Yeah. My notes app is a complete mess, but it turns into videos once in a while.
Yeah, definitely, and I like that description of your channel as well, kind of, your hobbies, so it's like a hobbyist and, like, pursuing what they care about, which is I think is interesting. It's why I wanted to bring in the schools of thought because sometimes you really bring in the science of Pokemon or you bring in the philosophy or the sociology aspect of some of this stuff, and it's very interesting, as a viewer to watch your stuff because it's so unique compared to what other people are doing because, it's the like you said, it's not exactly a theorist, it's not exactly a explanations. It's not exactly a gameplay or art specifically. It's just like general ideas. It's like schools of thought applied to Pokemon. It's very interesting, very
Thank
introspective.
you. Yeah. I don't know how sustainable that model is because I've always been afraid that eventually I'll run out of interesting questions to ask myself about Pokemon. But so far, yeah, it's worked out. So I'm gonna keep it going, I think.
Yeah, luckily I feel like it's always like you said because you write down your ideas, so it's like something's always popping up if that makes sense. Like there's always a new question to be asked, and like someone asks a question and you'll get a variant of that question. Like it'll be like, oh yeah, that, but what if this instead? So it's things like that that I feel like really make a difference because I know that you've done like recently you did like best Pokemon of each type, I believe is what it was called, or more focused
Yeah,
on.
that was my God, that video took so long to make, but it was a very in-depth analysis of each type.
Yeah, and it was like almost an hour long.
Yeah, I mean, it mainly stemmed from me just kind of wanting to discuss Pokemon designs like very in depth because I realize I've touched on it in a lot of videos, but I haven't necessarily had like one giant video dedicated to I don't know, to that kind of stuff. And I think my viewers appreciate it. Definitely not an expert, but yeah, I mean, again, it all circles back to just focusing on whatever interesting question is in my brain. And that's how that video started like 6 months ago when I had the idea. It was just like, what what Pokemon type has the best designs, and like why is that? Like what makes their design special or unique compared to other types? And I just kind of explored that.
Yeah, you've had so many interesting things like that. I know you've done like 5 minute Pokemon designs. I cannot unfortunately think of who featured on that video, but that you had like a submarine Pokemon kind of was like made out of like a small fish, and it was so cool. Like it was such a fun idea. So I know that you ask questions I feel like other people don't ask, or if it's something that someone's kind of asked before, you take it in a different way that hasn't been done before.
Yeah, yeah, that's my goal. Because I mean, there's so many great Pokemon channels that I'm sure have influenced you as well. With like Hoops and
Absolutely.
Hip Hop or Birdkeeper Toby, who are essentially experts on theories and hidden details, Easter eggs, stuff like that. And I don't think I could ever measure up to that. So I just try to take a different approach.
Yeah, and I definitely think it works. I personally came to your channel. I remember when I found your channel, it was like you had like the art of weird Pokemon names.
Oh
It was
yeah.
just discussing Pokemon names. That was the first video of yours that I saw, and I was like, this guy has good production quality. And then, production was in the name. I didn't know that when I was watching it at first. I just clicked the video. And then I was like, subscribed. I was like, I gotta find this guy on Twitter. So I found your Twitter. I tweeted out about you. I was like, I love finding creators like this. Like I was all in.
I do remember that shout out on Twitter. That was cool to see. That was like the first time anyone had like tweeted about my channel.
It was so good. I just stumbled across it, and I was like, the background that he's got going on, the art that he does, the like way that the names are popping up, like the way he talks, it's just all in line with what I enjoy. So I was like, immediate sub, switch to my other account, immediate sub, go to Twitter. So I know that you also one of your bigger series was what Pokemon Z could have looked like. Do you kind of want to talk about that a little bit? I'm a big Kalos fan, so I was in on that series because I was like, I am always going to forever be hurt that we don't have Pokemon Z in existence. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that video
For
series.
sure. I mean, yeah, you just summed it up. That was the root of that series, was me really enjoying and engaging with Pokemon X and Y back in the day. I've talked about it in a few videos on my channel, but that was kind of like
Yeah,
my return to Pokemon. I had taken like 2 years off. I didn't play Black and White 2 when they came out, which I regret because they're amazing games. But I played Pokemon Z or Pokemon X and Y. I wish it was Z. And
yeah,
yeah, and part of it is, I mean, they're okay games, but there's definitely an element of nostalgia for me. So I kind of just started by making that X and Y retrospective just as a total passion project to be like, hey guys, do you remember this Pokemon game that, I mean, everyone does, but I don't think a lot of people appreciate some of the good sides of it. And as I was writing that, I was like, oh, dang, there's so much here that is missing that I think Pokemon Z could have immediately fixed. Like it could have been one of the
yeah,
best
yeah.
Pokemon generations, I think, if there was a Pokemon Z. So in whatever form I could, I just wrote out a story. Initially, it had a very different kind of approach, but it eventually kind of morphed into that visual novel that I eventually did, which was a huge undertaking. But yeah, I guess people really resonated with it, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that that's your Gen 6 retrospective. That's I think that's one of the bigger videos on your channel if I remember correctly. Like whenever I clicked that Pokemon names video, I looked at some of your other videos and I was like, man, that one's really taken off. And I like clicked that one next. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stay here for an hour and listen to what this guy has to say about Gen 6 because I love it so much.
Yeah, I think it might be my biggest video on the channel to date, which is pretty cool. I'm really glad that X and Y is getting that love.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, it's the fact that it didn't get a third version is what really hurt it. Like in most games, Ruby Sapphire, couple problems, Emerald fixes them. And then, you have Gen 5, Black and White had some issues. Black and White 2 fixed them. Same with Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. But like Gen 6 just didn't have that third version to fix, kind of the plot
Yeah.
holes, kind of the storyline, kind of the rivals issues and things like that that could have been smoothed out in the third version that people would have been like, this is a fantastic
Yeah,
generation.
yeah, I love the Pokemon fan base because I think it's a very creative one, and people constantly come up with all these elaborate ideas and headcanons for new games or projects that, sometimes verge on wish fulfillment. But I think in the case of Pokemon Z, that's like the ultimate example of like, it's beyond like wish fulfillment. It's just like, it's so obvious that it should have happened that like, I think unanimously everyone agrees that it should have. And it really sticks out when you look back at the catalog of games.
Yeah, no, it really does. It's like it's just because it's so weird to only have the two. And I know, like, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire kind of filled in a gap. People say that, but like it that there was a lot of remakes and a lot of different gens, and this is the only one that didn't get a third version with it.
Seriously, yeah, I will never forget playing Sun and Moon just like 2 years later, and when I stumbled upon that part of the game where you can, get the Zygarde cells and then
Yeah,
assemble them, I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"Wait, this is so out of place." Like, it's kinda painful.
It really felt really weird. I agree with that. Like the Zygarde stuff, like the first time I played it, I was like, why this was a Gen 6? Like it was all talked about through even in X and Y they talked about it. It wasn't even like a because sometimes they release Pokemon later. Like Volcanion was released, after the fact, and Magearna was released after the fact of the games being released. But like Zygarde's in the games. Like he's referenced in the games. There's like the he lives in Reflection Cave, like all that stuff. So like he's in the lore. They just don't address it until we're in an island chain in the middle of the ocean.
Seriously, yeah, I definitely think, I mean, one thing I noticed too is that X and Y definitely is kind of a callback to Gen 1 in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously you get like the Kanto starters, there's the birds,
Yeah.
and obviously Mega Evolution is a huge kind of nostalgia thing. So I think they were trying to kind of evoke the mystery of like Mewtwo and Cerulean Cave, maybe with the whole Zygarde thing. And they were like, we're gonna make it a cool, retro style, just vague mystery for the first game, and then we'll flesh it out in a future entry. But I guess they never got to that. I think that's my theory that that was the plan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it would have worked super well had there been a Pokemon Z.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, for the next segment, we are going to move on to a little trivia game for you and the listeners. I'm going to list 5 trivia questions about legendary Pokemon. Since you are, so good at conceptualizing Pokemon, I feel like you study Pokemon really well. And I was like, you know what? Let's bring in some legendary Pokemon, some Pokemon with more, I guess, unique or intense designs compared to other Pokemon, and bring them in and see how he does with trivia on that. How do you feel about
That
that?
sounds great. I'm very grateful that you're taking that approach because if this was like the anime or anything else, I would not know it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I try and cater a little bit to my guests on
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm gonna ask the questions, then you can discuss them, but don't answer them yet because we're gonna wait until the end for you and the listeners to answer them
Sounds
together.
good.
Alrighty. So for the first question, the fourth member of the Weather Trio was added in Pokemon Legends Arceus. What is the name of this fourth
All
member?
right. Yeah, I think I got that one for sure.
You got it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It kind of stuck out a little bit. You got to make sure that you play that game though, or else you would never ever hear the Pokemon because it's never mentioned anywhere else and hardly mentioned in the game.
Hey, I would be fine if that Pokemon does not come up again in the future,
Yeah.
personally.
The design scares me. That speaking of designs that are doing too much, that's the number one culprit. Just doing too much.
Seriously.
Alrighty. Question 2. This Pokemon's species name is the legendary Pokemon and is called a legendary Pokemon even though it isn't classified as such. This common misconception was made worse in the anime as they referred to it as a legendary Pokemon of Kanto. What is this Pokemon?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I have a few ideas for that one, so that should be
Okay,
good.
okay, yeah, yeah. It is definitely a well-known Pokemon in Kanto, so that definitely helps a little bit. Alrighty, question 3. In the only game that these two Pokemon are available, you choose which of the two you will get by choosing what carrot you plant. What two Pokemon are
All
they?
right, I think I have an idea for that one too.
Yeah, the carrot
The
thing helps a
carrot,
lot.
yeah. Yeah, there's very few Pokemon that have specific items like that.
Have storylines based around a carrot. Alrighty, Generation 7 introduced evolving legendaries for the first time. Two Pokemon are able to evolve from their base form despite being legendary. What Pokemon are they?
Hmm. Um, yeah, that one's tougher.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a little bit tougher. One of them is like on the fence of whether you call it a legendary or not. Technically is a legendary, but it's very interesting throughout the game. But yes, the two evolving legendaries of Alola.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's very few legendaries that outright evolve.
Yeah, yeah. So very few. One of them has a very interesting method in this game of, and it's practically the same thing. I mean, there's just like, look, it's a little different now. Alrighty, question five, and this is going to be a guest question, so it's a question that I kind of tailor to you
Ooh,
specifically. So, you think you're ready?
I'm ready.
In a newly discovered Pokemon region called the Orova region, there is a new regional variant of Aerodactyl. What are the two types of this
Well,
Pokemon?
I feel like I should know that one. I made the Pokemon.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go, there you go.
I I
Feel pretty
was
confident on
I
that?
was panicking for a second. I totally blanked on the typing, but, I'm like 90%, 95% sure about it.
It's very interesting. You really have to think of the, like, design that you gave it. That helps a ton for me. Like, whenever you see it, it's like, "Ah, yes, okay, yeah, that makes sense,
Yeah.
the idea."
No, I got a lot of complaints, when I initially unveiled it, which was, like, over 2 years ago, so my fan base was much smaller, but I remember getting a few vocal complaints that it was not like a rock type because it's a fossil.
It's a form of a fossil. There's a lot of fossils that don't have rock types, so
Exactly, yeah. That's what I was going for.
you were just ahead of the Pokemon Company on that
Well,
one.
yeah, I think that was after Sword and Shield, so I can't take the credit.
I like the design, and it's one of my favorites from your region, that's why I picked that one. I'm like, "That one's so cool to me."
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites as well. Is a cool design.
Absolutely, and very cool inspiration that you took from. I very much
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
very California centric.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we will move on to the next segment, which is going to be called RKS News. We cover hot news topics in the Pokemon community, kind of let people know what's going on and keep people up to date.
Awesome.
So the first piece of news is that if you are wanting Pokemon merch, it's that time of year when they really start releasing things on the Pokemon Center website. Pretty much September 1st until Christmas, they just flood it with new items. There's Christmas stuff coming up in December. They have Halloween themed stuff. They have Thanksgiving themed stuff. They have the end of summer stuff. Like, oh, this is for your pool. This is for skateboards. So if you are wanting merch, watch the Pokemon Center website because it does sell out in like 2 days every time they add something new, but they're adding something new all the time. I know in the past week, at least 3 times they've added new items in large swaths to that website. So, you ever buy anything from the Pokemon Center store?
I do, yeah. Me and, my girlfriend kind of have a growing collection at our place of, those, very specific line of plushies from the Pokemon Center. I think they're called the Sitting Cuties.
Oh yeah, sitting cuties.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, we have, gosh, like, probably over 30 at this point.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Wow.
just all
Yeah.
of our favorite Pokemon. I will definitely have to add to my collection when Scarlet and Violet comes out. I think there's been, like, half of the new guys revealed. I've been like, "Yeah, I need to own that in merch form in some fashion." Like
100%. Yeah. I'm really excited because when Christmas comes around, we'll have merch for Scarlet and Violet that's Christmas themed. I love the Christmas themed stuff. Like, I love the winter themed
yeah.
things that they do. And so I'm like all in when it's Scarlet and Violet hits. I'm like, yes, allow me to have more things for my Christmas collection.
Yeah, I don't have too much Christmas stuff, but I'm definitely a big Halloween guy, and, I saw an ad for that, like, right after Worlds, I think, like, last week for
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
Halloween collection, and yeah, I'm definitely going in on that.
Yeah, and an interesting thing that I'm seeing this year too that they're really promoting. I think they did it last year, but they're really promoting it this year. They're doing so Halloween, you give out candy to kids, you have the big bags of candy. The Pokemon company is now selling those big bags, but they're Pokemon cards, packs of 3 Pokemon cards, and they're in like special foil, and like you each card has like a pumpkin Pikachu logo stamped on it. And so when a kid comes to your door, instead of giving them candy, you hand them a pack of Pokemon cards. And so they're really trying to get people to sell this. It's really
That's
cool,
cool. I wish that was a thing when I was a kid.
right? I know. I was like, I actually, me and other adult friends of mine purchased some last night and opened them for ourselves. But we were like, if I was a kid, like I'm about to go trick or treating if people are going to start having these Pokemon packs at their houses.
Oh, yeah, I really gotta get in on that. Like, I will just buy those for myself.
Yeah, we absolutely did. We were like sitting around. Yeah. Super, super good. There's some super fun cards there. It's a lot of ghost Pokemon, a lot of psychic Pokemon, Mewtwo, things like that. So very
Seriously.
exciting.
Kid me back in like 2007, the year that I went as Pikachu. I would have lost my mind if someone gave me
Yeah.
cards at the door. Someday I'll definitely expose myself on my channel and post a photo of myself in that costume.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we
when I hit
go.
a yeah,
50K
maybe.
subs.
That's like a 50K, maybe 100K kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's a real special one. Alrighty, so next up is actually some information for our competitive players. Season 34 is now available in the Sword and Shield games. It'll be using Series 13 rules, which means there are literally no special Pokemon restrictions. You can bring as many mythical or legendary Pokemon as you want into the competitive scene and just try and annihilate people with that. So it's no holds barred. You can Gigantamax, you can Dynamax, you can use any legendary and a mythical for any amount. So everything's fair game pretty much. So it's pretty chaotic. I'm excited to watch some people play through
That's
that.
cool. I definitely gotta get back into competitive. It's been so long since I've even tried.
Yeah, absolutely. I made it to Master Ball, and then I really fell off after that because I was like, I've made the Master Ball tier once. I've achieved all of my goals, and then like I never got back to it, but I need to.
Yeah, when I have a little more free time, I think I should definitely dive into that. Maybe I'll give it a shot in a few weeks before Scarlet and Violet comes out. I think that's my biggest regret about Gen 8 because I've heard it had a really good competitive scene and obviously was super accessible with the whole Switch system. That's just never really been my thing, but I should definitely give it a shot one more time.
Yeah, definitely. And the competitive scene for Gen 9 is going to be absolutely crazy. It seems like with the new items, the mirror herb, the loaded dice,
Oh,
the
wow.
just terrestrial gimmick in general, it's going
Seriously.
to be just absolute madness. I mean, whenever you have a like someone throws out an Eevee and you're like, haha, Eevee, and then it is normal terrestrial type with Terra Blast with the adaptability ability, it's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, seriously, whenever I talk with, like, friends about Gen 9, people always ask me, like, if I'm excited about terastallizing, and I'm like, "I don't know, it just sounds, like, chaotic." Like, I don't know. I'm either gonna love it or hate it. Like, no in between.
I think I will love it until I hate it. Whenever I'm facing a gym leader and I go to use a super effective move, or I switch to a Pokemon that's going to have a good move, and then they're like, now my ice type's a fire type. It's like, okay, thanks. It's
Huh, yeah, that's
going to drive me
so
nuts.
that's gonna be interesting because gyms, I mean, even back in the old days with like, I mean, gym leaders, they never use Mega Evolutions, but with Dynamax, like it never changed the type of the Pokemon. So you didn't really have to alter your strategy in terms of how you team build for that gym leader. But I guess that's more of a consideration for Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, there's gonna be type specialists who have like an ace with a totally different type.
100%, it's gonna happen. Like they're going to be an electric type gym leader. Therefore, you are going to throw out your ground type Pokemon to fight them,
Oh.
and then they're gonna go, okay, now I am a water terrestrial type, and I Terra Blast into you, and it's just gonna sweep through you, and it's gonna be a nightmare. But I'm excited for it. At least that'll be a challenge, and it'll be even worse if they can change the terrestrial type at certain points. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a nightmare. I'm excited though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm excited to see what the competitive scene has 'cause I think it's just going to be so chaotic to watch that like the worlds happening next year. I think is going to be insane.
For sure. I gotta try to get out to Worlds next year. I was so jealous.
There's so much cool like content creator meetup and so many cool people. Janucci Masuda was there. You could have met him. I was like, oh man, that just seems fun.
Yeah, I was listening to, the True Green 7 and Birdkeeper Toby podcast yesterday, and they were talking about their experience at Worlds, and yeah, that just sounds amazing. Like, they were 5 feet from Masuda, and, like, it was just a bunch of YouTubers hanging out.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it just seems super cool. I know like Pragmagic, like he was sharing it pretty well. Birdkeeper Toby, the last shaman, they were all sharing it on their social medias, and I was like, man, I am I'm pretty jealous right now of all this. But yeah, it just seems like a fun time to hang out and kind of get some good stuff. And like you said, the Calm Mind podcast talks about it really well. If you want to hear from people that were actually able to go, unlike myself in Tam Valley.
hey, maybe next year we'll be out there and we'll talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, there we go. I'll have you back on the podcast for a recap of our world trip.
Oh, yeah,
Alrighty. So next up is Pokemon Go news. The season of light is finally here. There's just way too much news for me to cover without it being the entire episode. So just briefly, there's lots of Psychic Mons coming. Pokemon that haven't been revealed yet coming for the first time. Guzzlord looks like he's going to be super terrifying. The loading screen is amazing. Super excited about that. And Cosmog is finally here, and the tasks to obtain Cosmog have already become active. So you can do the first set of tasks if you want to get Solgaleo or Lunala on your team eventually, because it is finally here. And that event will run until December 1st.
There we go. That sounds pretty cool. I I
Yeah.
have no involvement with that game, but, sounds cool.
Yeah. Did you ever play it when it first came out? Like, were you in the craze in 2016 or?
Oh, yeah, big time. I played it for, like, a month after it came I feel like everyone did, and I totally fell off. I did not really like the battle mechanics. I mean, I
The
guess
battle mechanics are rough.
yeah, and back then, it was probably even worse. I just enjoyed
Yeah,
catching
absolutely.
it, like, all I mean, it was cool back then too because it was just the original 150, 151. So
Yeah,
I thought it
yeah.
was cool just being able to catch them all. And yeah, it helped that I grew up like like back then I was like living with my parents because I was still in high school and I lived near the headquarters of Niantic. So there were an
Oh wow.
insane number of hotspots. And yeah, it was
Yeah.
always cool to it was interesting to hear about people who, like, struggled finding Poke spots or whatever they were called, because they lived in more rural areas, and I just felt very lucky.
Yeah, I still boot it up because it like my house. Again, I've talked about it before in the podcast. But like I go in like just like big waves. Like I'm either really into Pokemon Go or I'm not playing it at all. But I still, like this season of Light, I'm like, well, I got to fire it up to see what I can get. I mean, the Inkay's running around. You can get a shiny like Mega Alakazam. I was interested, but like my house is a Pokestop, so it's
Oh,
easy for me to just up and just sit there and keep spinning stuff for a little bit. So all the time I'm just like, oh yeah, I could fire that up real quick. Take that. It's a gym and a Pokestop, so I can take the gym, spin the thing, do my bidding, and then go.
yeah, it was fun when I had my second phase, like, when I started college, because there were a bunch of Pokestops there too, and all my roommates were in on it, but I fell off again. I just don't really think it's for me.
Yeah, no, no, it's definitely not. I mean, Pokemon has so many things. It's honestly it seems impossible for someone to like every single thing or be fully involved. Because like right now, you could be doing Pokemon Go, Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Cafe Remix. I mean, there's so much to even just on your phone to be doing.
Seriously, I think that's cool though. I really like that Pokemon is kind of catering to a bunch of different type of people. Like I really do think that's cool.
Yeah, no, I love that they diversify and they try and include everyone. Like people that can't afford a Switch. Like here's a free game you can play on your phone. Like of course you can always spend way more money on it, but technically it's free.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't even tried with like Masters because I've heard it's very addicting and I would spend a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty easy to do on that
Yeah,
one.
the Pokemon franchise gets enough of my money, I think, in other ways. I spend a lot on merch and the official games.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a lot of sitting cutie money racking up for you.
Seriously.
But yeah, so this news it gets me excited. I don't know how much it will for everyone listening, but for me personally, um, they're releasing a DVD called Pokemon Winter Celebration, and it's like 7 winter themed episodes, like the very famous Snow Way Out, which has Ash in the cave huddling with all of his Gen 1 Pokemon before they evolve because they're trying to keep each other warm. It's a very classic photo for Pokemon. The one where he catches Snorunt, and it's available now for pre-order on Amazon. So you can have it in time for your winter season. So if you're wanting some Pokemon episodes to throw on while you're feeling the winter vibes, this is for you. I already have it pre-ordered, to be honest, because super excited about it. I just like having themed episodes like that because I'm kind of odd in that way that I'm like I'm feeling very wintry right now in this snowy weather. So
Oh, I love having collections of Pokemon, episodes that are, like, themed. I have a box set of various episodes, but it's divided by Pokemon. Like, there's, like, Pikachu and Meowth
yeah, yeah,
discs,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there's, like, random episodes that just happen to feature that Pokemon, but I think it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And they really it seems like they've done a good job with like picking episodes that are very famous. Again, Snow Way Out, very famous. That picture, that one, it's out of order, so all of a sudden Charizard's Charmander again. So that's funny. But like Ash is in the cave. He's got his jacket off. He's huddling with all of his Pokemon: Pikachu, Pidgeotto, Butterfree, Squirtle, Bulbasaur,
Is that
Charmander. It's a cute
well, is that
picture.
the episode where, like, Charmander's tail flame is about to go out, and, like, they're trying to stop that from happening because otherwise he would, like,
Yes, and
die.
so, like, Ash is like, "I will huddle with this Pokemon to keep it good," and then all the other Pokemon take themselves out of their Pokeball and cuddle with Ash, to keep him warm, keep all of them warm, and then they make it through the night, and then, like, as he it's looking dark.
Yeah, I remember that, like, traumatized me as a kid. Like, I found that very upsetting. Like, I have distinct memories of, like, crying over episodes of the Pokemon anime when I was a kid.
Oh, 100%. Bye Bye Butterfree is one, that
Oh
one,
god.
the one where you think Pikachu's gonna leave even though it's only 13 episodes into the series.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
no."
even the first movie, I remember.
Yeah, the first movie's super good. I
Yeah.
love the first movie.
Yeah, I found that upsetting too when I was a kid, like, towards the end when Ash pretty much dies for, like, 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, it's like the whole thing, like, it's the fact that, like, if he just turned to stone and it wasn't really, like, focused on, but it's like Pikachu trying to revive him with electricity while crying, it's like, "Oh, well, come on, how is this not sad?" Like, the you've made this and, like, the music that plays in the background is, like, the most emotional music my childhood self had ever heard, so, like,
Seriously.
it was rough. But yeah, so they've got a lot of cool episodes going on there. Like I said, the one where he gets snow run. They have the Orange Islands episode where he's trying to do the ice challenges to get his seashell badge. The one where he meets Articuno for the first time. So they're really doing a large variety of episodes. So definitely, if you are into the winter season or want themed DVD sets, that is absolutely something that you should get. And again, pre-orders available on
I will
Amazon.
definitely have to do that. I gotta increase my collection.
Saw it and it was like, click the link, pre-order.
Yeah, I don't even own a DVD player right now, but I will buy it anyway.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Someday you will, again.
Yeah, I hope so because I have, like, I have every Pokemon movie on DVD from the first one to, like, the black and white, the first one from Generation 5, and they're just sitting
Oh,
there
yeah, yeah.
in my closet, so
All those are fantastic movies, but I always worry about that whenever I buy a, DVD now. Like, we're getting to the point now where I'm like, "How long until this is obsolete and no one knows how to fix DVD players anymore, and now I'm buying these DVDs. I'm not gonna be able to watch them anymore."
yeah, I don't know. I think a good Blu-ray, I see it the same way as, like, owning vinyls. Like, yeah, it's obsolete and kind of inconvenient, but, the satisfaction of physically owning something like that, especially if it's part of a collection, it just feels good.
Yeah, I do like that idea though, that like 40 years from now, people are gonna be like, "Ugh, you own DVD?" Like you collect DVDs, like a vinyl's got like that like reputation behind it. Like it's either like super cool and you're into it, or you're like, you collect vinyls. So it's gonna be like that with DVDs. It's gonna be
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Well, I hope my grandkids are very grateful when I pass on all my Pokemon DVDs to them in
100%.
2075.
This is gonna be a tradition now that we watch this Pokemon Winter Celebration on around Christmas time. Here you go. Add
Yeah.
it to the traditions. And of course, the last piece of news is that we got an adorable new friend, the toxic monkey Pokemon, Grafaiai, the new poison normal Pokemon. Do you have any opinions on our little guy?
Well, I made a short video, I saw you did too,
Yeah,
yesterday
yeah.
on it, and I don't wanna be super reactionary or have recency bias, but I genuinely do think that Grafaiai might be in, like, my top 20, maybe top 30 Pokemon. Like, I am in love with the design. I think it's genius. What do you think about it?
I feel like they really nailed it. Like it's just so good. It's like I was describing this yesterday to someone. Like I don't think that they went you can see that there's a hoodie aesthetic to it, but I don't think they went too overboard with it. I think Raboot takes it a bit too far with
Oh,
putting its
yeah.
hands in its pocket, and so it takes you out of it. But like Grafai, it has the hoodie that's baggy, sleeves pushed up. You get that vibe from it. It's got like the certain style of pants, got the ripped kind of jean aesthetic by having that like stripe across its leg, but it doesn't go too far. Same with like the fur on top that's supposed to be like hair poking out, but like it doesn't go too far. It looks like a natural part of its face. The gas mask aesthetic is just like literally just the coloration of its face. So it's not, again, it's not too much. The way that they did the fingers, it's like I paint my fingers all the time, so they're just stained this way. I don't think anything's too much. I really like the design. I think they hit the perfect balance of including design elements without taking those elements too
Yeah,
far.
really. I mean, Pokemon, I think recently, I mean, all the designs honestly I think, are generally good. I don't think there's too many horrible designs, but I think sometimes, yeah, like what you said with reboots, when they have really outlandish or humanoid concepts, they just look very artificial. Like they look like toys. Like they look just objectively poorly designed. But I think Grafia, it looks like a real animal. Like I love what you said, like the hoodie and like the scruffy tuft of fur on its head and like how gross its fingers looks. Like it looks so like real.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a little punk. I like that. It's just like a little like, I feel like a lot of artists can resonate with like the aura, the energy that it puts out. You know what I mean? Like it's just it fits artist energy, you know what I mean? Like it's by itself, like it's just going to keep doing its little paintings, leave it alone. Like I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, seriously. I really like it. And someone pointed out to me too that it's kind of it has those green eyes, like the mint green eyes, and like it has pink and like purple shades on it. And it kind of matches my channel's color scheme.
Oh,
So
absolutely it does. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason why I like it. Like I don't have a
Yeah.
channel mascot, but if I ever
But
were to have one, like 3 years down the line,
yeah, no, it
maybe.
fits super well. Yeah, and I like at first, literally the first second that I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, what are these eyes?" And then like the more I saw it, I was like, "I kind of like this." Like I like the bigger eyes that they did because they didn't, that's the joke. Gen 1 has the pointed eyes and Gen 8 has the round eyes, but like they weren't round; they're just large, which was cool. They were more like Spider-Man esque, if that makes sense. Like the
Exactly.
shape of them,
Yeah.
it was like a mix of pointed and rounded. They were just large. So I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think Pokemon really do succeed design-wise. Like, I think we think a lot of designs are special when kind of it's clearly one animal, but like with distinct features of like another to make it special, to make it like a Pokemon. Like Nidoking is kind of like a gorilla, rabbit, minus
Rhino.
rhino thing, but that's why I like Grafia because it's not literally just an eye. It's like an eye with yeah, like those bug eyes almost.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
cool.
It's like, yeah, bug eyes, Tamarin features, it's smaller than a graphite or than an eye, but like it does well. Like Cyndaquil does well in that respect too. Like when people are like, what rodent is Cyndaquil? You will get five answers. Like if you ask a group of people, they'll be like, that's an echidna, a hedgehog, that is a mole. That is like you get so many different answers because it's a good amalgamation of things. And Cyndaquil is a very popular starter because of that. Like you said, people gravitate towards that, like it's animal like, but it's many animals put together. It's several things that combine to make it a Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, what's your theory about Cyndaquil? What do you think it is?
Me personally, I think it leans mostly Echidna with hedgehog elements for the flames. Because I think the flames are more spiky than an echidna's. So that's how I feel about it, but it definitely evolves into a badger. Like
Yeah.
it's in my opinion, it's echidna, weasel, badger is how I feel about it.
Yeah, no
But
matter what it is, it does not make sense biologically. Like it is so
no, yeah,
far unrelated to to a Wolverine or a badger or whatever
yeah,
Typhlosion is.
yeah.
I guess it's a
Which
honey
is
badger.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be honey badger, but that's what makes Pokemon Pokemon. That's people are always like, I hate the animalist or not the animal, but like the humanoid, the anthropomorphic is the word I was looking for. Pokemon that are like too human. Then you get the is this a Digimon? Like, why is Pokemon becoming
God.
Digimon like that? That annoying thing that people say. But
Oh, that is my biggest pet peeve. I hate that.
oh yeah, yeah. I plan on making like a little shorts video here soon, just sarcastically about that. Like Pokemon that are clearly animals that have been released in the past two gens, and it's like, is this a Digimon? like,
God.
and showing like comparable Digimon to be like, no, it doesn't have a gun or wearing pants or human chest. like, like it's so overdone. Like when
Seriously.
the people say that, it's just annoying. But either way, like they're doing a good job now. I feel like of the animal thing, and people are drawn towards the animal that's an amalgamation of things, kind of like a monster. So that's where what the draw is, and people don't really like the humanoid ones. But again, they're not Digimon.
No, yeah, I think the Gen 8 design or Gen 9 designs are really great, all of them, honestly, because they're all kind of abstract. Like, there's not one. I mean, I guess Lechonk is like a pig, but the rest are kind of like amalgamations of different things, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Palmy is the electric mouse Pokemon. That's cool, but you wouldn't look at that and be like, "Oh, that's a mouse."
Nope. No, it looks like a
like,
cat or a bear
yeah,
or something.
yeah, like a little bear. Yeah, and like people, you wouldn't look at Titan and be like, That is 100% a whale. That's the whales that I know with its huge back legs.
I'd like to see those whales.
Yeah,
Seriously.
right? You didn't see any of those in San Francisco?
No, no, I used to work at a zoo, and there was like a exhibit on the wall of like, you know, how different animals like that evolved in weird ways, and there was like a
Yeah.
horrifying lifelike model of like a legged whale from like millions of years
Oh,
ago,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
when they were in that transition. And like since then, I just whales make me really uncomfortable because it's like I like fish. I think it's very straightforward. It's like they were made to be in the water. But the idea that
Yeah.
some like predatory giant mammal just like evolved to look like a fish like freaks me out. So I think that's why Titan kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. I could see that where it's like, it's just Uncanny Valley, it's a little too, one-off from where, like, it's like, well, now it's a little bit too much of a mix of things, but I like Titan, but I totally get where other people, again, I've said this before, I get why other people wouldn't like the amalgamation designs that it's taken on, but
Yeah. No, I mean, we have Garchomp, it's a land shark. I mean, then we have Titan, the land whale. So it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, and, yeah, I think, it's very hard to find someone that doesn't like Garchomp, I feel like.
Seriously.
Everyone's like, "Woo, love this guy."
Yeah, that's like the textbook cool Pokemon that
Yeah.
everyone likes. I mean, like even more than Lucario.
Yeah, yeah. I think Lucario, like, that there's a certain group of people on the internet that have taken things a little far with Lucario, and it has that stigma with it now. But
Yeah.
I don't think Garchomp has had anything like that. It's just like people are like, you don't mess with Garchomp. Like this is the coolest Pokemon. People love the Garchomp. It's one of those Pokemon that's just like forever cool. It's just like, no, look at it. It's a big shark. It's a shark that runs.
Yeah. I think it's cool that people like it too, considering that it's probably traumatized a lot of people through Cynthia. A lot of
Oh
Pokemon
yeah.
fans like have horrible memories of trying to overcome her final ace. And it's interesting because like other Pokemon like that, people hate, like Whitney and the Milk Tank. Like
Oh
everyone
yeah.
hates Milk Tank, but Garchomp gets a pass, even though it's caused the same amount of grief because it's cool.
Yeah, arguably, Whitney with her Miltank has caused more grief. Like, I mean, like, because you were even younger. You know what I mean? Like, most people playing that were even younger, and you had even less of an understanding of the attract rollout set that she was running to just wreck you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I have a different perspective because I was a little too young when Gold and Silver came out, so I never played Gold and Silver. At least upon
Oh yeah, yeah,
release.
yeah.
So I played Heart Gold. That was my first time playing Johto, and by then
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. That's
kinda
fair.
I kinda knew how to do it a little bit, and
Yeah,
I think there was
yeah,
that in-game trade too. Like, I think you can get, like, a Machop in
yeah.
Goldenrod.
Machop. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you could have a little bit of a standing chance against it. So speaking of the Paldea Pokemon, so is Grafai your favorite, or like how do you feel? Do you have one that's like far and away your favorite, or like one that you just aren't feeling at
In
all?
terms of not feeling, I definitely yeah, like I said, Titan just kinda, like,
Hmm.
makes me uncomfortable. Like, it's one of those Pokemon that I actually, like like, it makes my skin crawl a little bit, I don't know why. But I don't not like the design. I like them all, I really do. I think it's a very solid batch. And it's hard to judge. We really haven't got that many, have we? We've gotten, like,
No, not
10?
honestly. I think it's 9 or 10 now. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, what do you think? Are you happy with the batch? Or do you wanna see
yeah, yeah.
more to be sold on it?
I think like if the designs stick with like the theme or like the design elements that they're kind of sticking with already, I'll like it. I don't dislike any of the Pokemon released so far. Like you said, Lechonk's just a pig, so I mean that doesn't really sway me too much either way. But the ones that we've gotten so far are super good, and you knew Grafai was going to be good because like when they do a trailer with this style, they could tweets beforehand like, "Oh, we've seen reports of this." It's always going to be a good Pokemon, like Surfetched, Galarian, Ponyta, Hisuian, Zorora, and Zoroark. It's just like those are going to be good. Like they think that this design is a slam dunk, and so they're going to like throw out little hints. And so like the second they were doing that with the Grafai, I was like, whatever Pokemon this is, they think is in the bag. Like people are going to be all in.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, Grafai right now, Grafai, Cyclizar. and Satitan. Those are my big three. I like those three a
Yeah,
lot.
Cyclizar is an interesting one. I definitely feel like I don't like the design at all. I think it's kind of ugly with like the I mean, I know it's supposed to look like a bike, but I don't think it looks good. And I don't like the shade of green. I think it's really ugly. But I
Yeah,
love its role in the game, hopefully. I mean, I made a whole video about it, like how I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
gonna tie in, and I'm so excited for Cyclizar.
Yeah, I think there's more to Cyclizar to be said. I would not be surprised if there was an Evo that is, strong and is the midpoint between Miraidon and Kuraidon. Like Cyclizar evolves into something that looks the same size as those two, stands on its back legs, and is a bit more powerful. And the Pokemon gives me vibes like it should be on Ash's team, and if that is the case, then I really do think it will evolve because they love being like, this is an Ash evolution. Woohoo. Like Dusk Lycanroc. Like this evolution's for Ash.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely think if Cyclizar ends up on Ash's team, we can expect an evolution in, if not in the main games, then in the DLCs or whatever they will do. But I think it'll be DLCs again. I think that's the future of Pokemon now is DLC.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I've liked the DLC that we've gotten. I
Yes.
really thought Crown Tundra, Sword and the Isle of Armor was great.
Crown Tundra, I loved Crown Tundra. Like that is like, Pokemon fans, creative imagination. So like, people will say things like, "Oh, if you could live in any town in the Pokemon world, where would it be?" I've already kind of stated this episode that I like winter a lot. I like Christmas. Freezington, that was right up my alley. When that came out, I was like, this is where I would live. This small little cottagey town in the middle of this like beautiful winter landscape. This great music's playing all the time. Like I was like, I'm in on this town. I love Freezington.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a nice town. It's very cozy. It
Yeah,
really
exactly.
is.
It's cozy vibes. Yeah, I was like, I like this, and you got a cave filled with legendaries right next to it. So.
Yeah, I've always liked the snow towns in Pokemon. I just have no kind of nostalgia for it, because, I mean, I grew up in California, so
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
really understand snow like that. But no, it's cool. It's nice.
definitely. There's a lot of really good towns. I mean, I there's some like Four Tree City, very cool. Like if you
Oh,
could live in
yeah.
a treehouse village, that's cool. I like flowers a lot, so Floroma Town, that'd be a gorgeous town to live in, just covered in
Yeah,
flowers.
all the towns in Sinnoh are really nice, except for,
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Veilstone.
Yeah, not much going on there,
No.
but they overall the design's very good. The route design's very good. So no, as far as the concept of the map was very well done.
Yeah, that is forever gonna be my favorite Pokemon region, I think.
Yeah, no, it's a classic for everyone. How'd you feel about Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl then? I didn't know this about you, so I'm just curious your thoughts.
I did not, play Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't because I was, like, super adverse to, the graphics, which I mean, I found them a little disappointing. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think most people agree with you.
yeah, I wasn't like, "I'm not gonna play in protest because 'cause I'm angry." It was more like, I love Sinnoh so much, and I love Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, and these games are essentially like the same thing. And I still have a working DS. I have 2 copies of Platinum, like 1 permanent copy and 1 that I can just reset for any kind of run I wanna do. So it's like, if I'm gonna play Sinnoh, I'm just gonna stick with the originals because, like, I won't get anything out of this new version, and if anything, it'll just make me kind of like Sinnoh less because it's gonna look like this weird bootleg modernized version that is just uncanny to me.
No, I totally get it. There are people, I don't know if you've seen, it's pretty common on Twitter. A lot of people have been doing mods for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl where they scale up the characters and they uh Pokemon that are in Legends Arceus or Pokemon that aren't available in Sinnoh and stuff like that. And I really want to play those mods because like I like the scaling that they've done for the character, like and the just the NPCs. It really makes it feel more Pokemon like to me.
Yeah, I think there just needed to be more of an art direction with those games. Like either make it super stylized and toy like Link's Awakening, the remake I think for Switch a few years back, or go in the complete opposite direction, do what Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire did, and just make it an actual remake, like scale everything up, make it grand and epic, and let us see Sinnoh in a new way, which I mean, we got through Hisui, so I'm not upset by any means.
Yeah, no, no, and then that was the and that was a very unique take for going back in time and being like, this is Sinnoh, but it's old. So like that was very
Yeah.
very neat to be able to experience that. And I hope it's not the last time that we experience that. I hope Legends games are something that kind of stick around.
Yeah, it was everything I wanted except for I mean, I guess back to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I think the one disappointing element about all that was just like I wanted to see what some of these towns would look like in the modern day because I think, towns like Sunny Shore, like they weren't supposed to look like that. Like it would have been really cool to see how it was reimagined, how we saw like the solar walkways or whatever in like actual 3D with a non-static camera and all that.
Yeah, it'd be very cool to be able to experience that again with like free motion or just better, like off of the literal grid, the like grid movement pattern, being able to like kind of run around Sinnoh and kind of experience the routes and things like that. It would just be a different feel to it, or like the a lower camera angle like you get in the wild area. The camera can go lower, and so you can be right behind yourself, which is very cool to me. I like running in that viewpoint.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope it delivers with the Paldea games. I'm really excited to check out that open world.
Yeah, I'm curious. I am curious if they're going to do a wild area esque thing at all, or if the whole thing is going to be the wild area. I like free camera movement, Pokemon of random levels and things just everywhere. So it'll just be interesting to see how it works in an open world, a literal open world.
Yeah, I'm avoiding everything that's not kind of very public official announcements. So I don't
Yeah,
really
definitely.
know too much. I don't know if there is anything officially known, but I've heard rumblings that like there are concerning elements that it's not fully open world, like the gym leaders are not like level scaled and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that one is on the Pokemon website where it
Ah,
says like
I see.
the wording that they use very much hints at the fact that they're not going to scale. You can do them in any order, but they're not going to scale.
I don't
So
get that.
yeah, no, that is an oversight for sure, in my opinion.
Ugh, yeah. Well, I think it'll be good. I really think it's gonna be fun. And even with non-level skilled, I think it'll be cool to see how everyone approaches um adventuring through the world, like what paths people take and how, you can have different kind of playthroughs depending on which route you take.
Yeah, it'll absolutely make fun challenge runs for things like that to be like, I can only catch Pokemon at this level, or I can only face the gym leaders in reverse order and things like that. So like the gameplay side of the Pokemon community is going to be eating well, I feel.
Oh yeah.
So one thing I did want to kind of talk about with your channel is you do every once in a while you do something that I have not seen really anyone else do the way that you do it, brainstorming live streams where you kind of have like an open script going for some of your video ideas, and like people are welcome to come and join and kind of bounce ideas off of your audience and you to make sure that you're catering a video to them, which I think is super interesting. So you kind of want to talk about that a little bit. I think it's very unique.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, as we've talked about, a lot of my videos are very much just like, thought experiments. So to me, capturing that intellectual side of it is the most important aspect above like visuals, above the music I use. I just want to make sure that, if I have an interesting idea, I'm going to get all perspectives on it. And I think I really shout out to my subscribers because I think they really are the type of people who really value that kind of interaction and that opportunity to like think deeply about Pokemon. So yeah, that was just an idea I had a few months ago to just start doing that for big videos. Like, hey, if I'm gonna make a Pokemon Z post game, like, what would you guys want to see in it? I mean, like, because it'll just be all the much better if I can get everyone's perspectives, and it's also a good supplement for me for kind of art streams, which a lot of other Poketubers do because I don't really. Every time I make art for videos, I do it in very short bursts. Like I will make designs months ahead and just do it for like 5 minutes at a time. Like I don't like sitting down and making a Pokemon design start to finish. So an art stream wouldn't really work for me. So to me, the brainstorm is just a good compromise.
Yeah, no, it's a very creative idea. I really like. I've been a part of two of them, and they're very fun the way that you do them. So I enjoy it, and I think it's very unique. So very great idea. I think doing that, and it's a great way for audience engagement. So I think, I think you're really onto something with that. So
Yeah, hopefully I can, thank you. Hopefully I can, keep doing those and, up the format so people aren't just staring at a Google Docs or spreadsheet thing for 2 hours, but, if people like it, I think I think people in my community like it, so
definitely, I think people like to see their ideas be put down like you're taking them seriously. I think that's a great thing for people to see, like reaffirming for your audience.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I like incorporating viewer ideas. I haven't done a great job of that with, like, my Fakemon designs. I've wanted to have the Aurora region be more of a collaborative thing. And there's a channel on my Discord where people can like submit ideas for designs, but
Yeah.
I've only made like two or three of them. So, if I can get people's inputs on other videos, then I want to do it.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so I'm going to ask you your final question here. It's a question I try to ask a lot of people. Do you have a favorite Pokemon memory? Something that really sticks out in your head that's like, this is when I fell in love with Pokemon, something that really sticks to me. When I think Pokemon, I think of this memory.
Oh, well, yes, I do. I definitely think I have that like one aha moment. Yeah, it was the first Pokemon game I ever played, Pokemon Pearl. So this was back in like 2000, whenever it came out, 6 or 7. And I was playing the game very slowly because I mean I wasn't like a little kid. I wasn't like 4 or 5. I was like 7 or 8. So I had like reading comprehension, but I had never played a video game before. It was literally the first like video game I'd ever played. So I didn't
Yeah,
really know what was going on. So I was going through the game very slowly, struggling with a lot of it, and just kind of wandering. And I remember that huge stretch between the sixth and the seventh gym where you're supposed to go up to Snow Point City and go
yeah,
through Mount Coronet. That was like a gauntlet. I remember like I stayed up very late, like on, in bed on my DS, trudging through the mountain and like fighting through hordes of gravelers and golbats and all that. And my team was terrible. It was pretty much just Infernape and like five other random guys. So we were taking a beating and I was
yeah.
about ready to just give up. I was like, this is not fun anymore. I don't know if I like Pokemon. But then I I
I hate
remember
this game.
I remember finding like one random door, with like it's like illuminated by light. It's like the one entrance that's like it's like white instead of black. So I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
is the way to go. And it was like boom, all of a sudden I was on route 216, 217, and
I think it's 216. Yeah,
yeah, 216, that's the one. And yeah, it was just magical. I will never forget like after being in that cave for hours, like what it was like to emerge into the snow and like finding all these weird new Pokemon that I'd never even seen before, like Snover and who else is up there? Snorunt. Yeah. And it
yeah. And
was
the Piloswine, I think's up there.
yeah,
Yeah,
Piloswine,
there's some
Sneasel.
really good. And yeah, I know Sneasel's there. Yeah, as I say, Sneasel's up there because you have to get Weavile that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I grew up in California. I'd seen snow like 5 times in my life up to that point. Just for like weekend ski trips or whatever. So it was just very like exotic to me, I guess. It was just like, this is like, I feel like I'm on an adventure and I just like hit my stride. Like I will never forget. That's the moment.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good memory. Yeah, I think the first 4 generations especially were so good at making, and I completely agree with you that that was like a gauntlet. Like that, I remember myself trying to get through there, and that was so tough getting. I don't think we've ever had a game again that, or before, like Sinnoh was the only one that we've had. It was so long and treacherous, and it's like so intense and difficult to get up there. They really made Snow Point feel like it was like, this isolated area. Like no one goes here in Sinnoh, and you have to trek up there if you want to become the champion. And it was so tough.
I totally agree. I've long had a video idea that I don't even know how I would put to word. Basically, I was just thinking like, yeah, every Pokemon game, with the exception of maybe the new ones like Galar and Alola, they always have like that one moment that just feels like super triumphant. Like that one route where it's like the combination of the part of the game that you're at and the music and the Pokemon there. Like it feels like an epic moment. And I definitely think for everyone that played Sinnoh, or a lot of people, that moment was like, yeah, crossing Mount Coronet and overcoming that. It's like the peak of your adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the first 4 gens were so good about having like those areas that were like good luck. Like whenever you had to like, you get through like your first cave and Kanto and Johto, like both of them had the caves that you had to like trek through to get through. And like back then, Flash before you had it, it was so small. And if you didn't have Flash or to understand how Flash worked, because like me, you were a dumb kid, you didn't think about making the light bigger. So you were just like, I'm just gonna have to stumble my way through this dark cave, battling Pokemon for hours until I find my way out. And it was there was always something like that in the early games. So I think you were totally correct, where it's like that moment of like, oh, I've made it through. Like I finally did it. Like
Yeah.
thank the Lord I'm out of here. It's like nearest Pokemon Center, I gotta find it.
I think Hoenn and Sinnoh are the best at that. Like there's so many routes or moments there where it's just like you break out onto something new and it just feels so good. Like I remember playing Emerald for the first time and like beating Watson and Mauville. And up to that point, you're just going through like very basic, like grasslands and just small towns and whatever, with the exception of Slateport. And then like
Yeah.
boom, all of a sudden you're like climbing up a volcano and it's like, yeah, I'm on an adventure now. It feels good.
Absolutely. Or like when you're trying to find like to get to Sutopolis City, you have to go under the water.
Oh
That
yeah.
was so hard to comprehend as a kid. That's like go into this spot, go underwater, go into this cave, then come up. When you're in the cave, then you'll be in Sutopolis. Like as a kid, I spent so much time in that one for my first home playthrough. I was like in tears. Like I cannot figure this out. Like this city doesn't exist. It's not in this ocean.
Oh yeah.
Super, super good memories from the early games. But yes, I totally agree that the early generations were super good at that.
Yeah, I will forever be jealous that I missed out on those kind of moments from generations 2 and 3 cuz again, my first Pokemon game was Pearl. So, joined a little
And
late.
a good game, a good game. Are you more of a Palkia guy or a Dialga guy? Like, did that form? Are you still more Palkia, or did it just happen that you had Pearl at the time?
Yeah, it just happened. I remember just like my best friend like had Diamond and was like, "Yo, you got to start playing Pokemon." And I was like, "Okay." And then, I was at like Best Buy with my mom, and this was like months after the game came out. So it was still
Yeah.
relatively new, and they just had like Pokemon Pearl like in like the checkout aisle, next to like the candy or whatever. And I was like, "That's the one." I don't know why. I guess I just like the pink and I want it to be different
Yeah.
from my my friend. But yeah, no, I don't like either Dialga or Palkia, truthfully. I some they're
Oh,
some of my
okay.
least favorite designs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a Giratina guy.
Yeah, Fiorentina's awesome.
Alrighty. Well, we will wrap this up. We will go back to the trivia questions and get the answers. So, you think you're ready?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. So, what is the name of the fourth member of the Weather Trio?
That is Enamorous.
That is correct. Yes, our weird turtle love genie that I cannot comprehend that design or back it up. So,
Yeah, really. I don't know. I mean, I know they all have those like secondary forms where they're supposed to be more animal like, but
yeah, that
like
one's the worst one.
I know, they went overboard. It's like, this is just one of those snout turtles. Like, it's not even like, there's no subtlety to it, and it's really
No.
horrible.
Yeah, there's just other animals. Like, make it even a giant snake. That would have been super cool. Like, if it like transformed, like became thinner, became more of a snake or a cobra or something. That would have been cool. You could even make the cobra flaps look like a heart or whatever you want to do. But like it could have been better.
Yeah, seriously.
Alrighty, question two. This Pokemon species name is the legendary Pokemon and is called a legendary Pokemon even though it isn't classified as such. This misconception was made worse when it's referred to as a legendary Pokemon of Kanto. What Kanto Pokemon is this?
I believe that's Arcanine, right?
You are correct.
There we go. Yeah, I figured, yeah, I don't know who else it would have been from Gen 1.
Yeah, so the tale goes that it was initially going to be a legendary Pokemon. That's why its species name is the legendary Pokemon, but it was scrapped, didn't happen. And then in the second episode of the original series of the anime, Ash walks into a Pokemon Center, the first one he's walked into. He's like, "What's that old tablet there?" And it has a picture of the three birds and a fourth Pokemon being Arcanine. And someone walks up and goes, "Oh, those are the legendary Pokemon of Kanto, the
Oh.
birds and the dog." And so
Well,
that seals it in a lot of kids' minds. It's like, that's a legendary Pokemon.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's aged well as a piece of world building. I like the idea that in universe there's certain Pokemon that are considered sacred or legendary, even if they're not. Like, I'm fine
Oh,
with that.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And I like Pokemon that like are so good that people are convinced they're like pseudo legendaries or legendaries and they're not. Like people think Lucario is a legendary. People think Haxorus is a pseudo, even though it's not. Volcarona should be a pseudo, even though it's not. Like ideas like that. I enjoy that.
I thought Rotom was a legendary until like 2 years ago. So
Yeah, and that also doesn't help. Again, that another one. I almost put it in the questions here, but they call it a legendary in the mystery dungeon games. They call it
Mm.
a legendary in the official Diamond and Pearl book. They call it a legendary. I can't remember in the third game, but like, there's more than one area where they're like the legendary Pokemon Rotom. It's like, quit calling it
Yeah,
that.
it plays the legendary battle theme, I think. One of the legendary
Yeah,
battle themes when you fight it
yeah,
in the old chateau. So
yeah. And that was another thing. Like, you only get in the old chateau after you do all the things, and so it's like, a mystery Pokemon because you can just skip right past it and not do anything. That you don't have to catch it.
yeah,
Alrighty, question 3. In the only game that these two Pokemon are available, you get to choose which two you will get by choosing what carrot you plant. What two Pokemon are they?
those are Spectrier and Glastrier, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. I never know how French to go with these names. I'm like, do I pronounce the R's really hard or do I go like Glastrier or like Glastrier?
Yeah. Well,
I
but
thought those were good designs.
by that logic, you would have to call Escavalier Escavalier.
Ooh, I mean, I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah, sounds fancy.
Pokemon France again. Let's go back to Gen 6.
Oh, yeah.
Now I like that headcanon that everyone in Kalos, like, because there's no voice acting, that they're pronouncing things like that, but we have no idea.
Yeah, they totally would.
Alrighty, in Generation 7, they introduced evolving legendaries for the first time. Two Pokemon are able to evolve from their base form despite being considered legendary already. What Pokemon are they?
That's Type Null, who evolves into Silvally, and Cosmog,
Correct.
who is the branch
There you
evolution.
go.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Technically, Cosmoem evolves too, so I don't want people coming at me like, Cosmoem also evolves. That's why I said base form. I just wanted the two.
If you didn't say that, I would not have even remembered Cosmoem exists, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. You
It
just
is
you know how it goes. Whenever you forget something like that, people are like, "I noticed you forgot something."
yeah.
I will bring it up for forever.
No, I think people exaggerate a lot with, like, the most forgettable kind of Pokemon, but I think Cosmoem is legitimately the Pokemon that I forget about the most.
Yeah, no, there are some that's like, oh yeah, man, I don't. You never even see this thing ever. Like there are some that people just don't like, so they say it's forgettable. But like this one's just literally forgettable. It's just you don't have it for very long. There's no story element built around it. Like it's just
Nope.
forgettable.
No, because you spend the whole game with, Nebby, and then you learn about Solgaleo and Lunala, and you know that Nebby can evolve into that, and it's like, "Okay, great, so I have to have this intermediate form that I'm immediately gonna just, like, evolve again."
Yeah, yeah. Like it has no like it's very briefly in existence.
Yeah,
Alrighty, question 5. This is our guest question. In a newly discovered Pokemon region called the Arova region, there is a regional variant of Aerodactyl. What are the two types of that Pokemon?
that would be, Ghost Poison.
Yeah, exactly. So, for those listening that didn't or haven't yet, I should say, watched Tam Valley's video on this, it's an Aerodactyl that had fallen into tar pits because California is filled with tar pits, and it comes back out, but it's a skeleton of an Aerodactyl with some tar aspects on it, giving it the ghost type from its recent unfortunate death again, and the poison from the tar. So definitely go check out all his videos on the Arova region. It's a region based on California and is very, very interesting. And he has a lot of very creative ideas, especially with regional variants.
Yeah, it's ongoing. I'm a little more than halfway done with the decks.
Yeah, and it's absolutely worth it. So, speaking of things that you do, things that I want to plug for you or you want to plug for yourself, do you have any promotions or things to watch out for coming up on your channel that you're excited for people to tune in for or that they should watch that you've already done?
Well, I guess you've already mentioned all the things that I've already done. The X and Y retrospective, the Z rewrite series. But yeah, I'm kind of continuing both of those in a similar vein. In the next month, I'm gonna have the post game of Pokemon Z, where I kind of give roles to the three mythical Pokemon from Gen 6, and wrap up my headcanon there. And then I'm going to do a long Sun and Moon retrospective because I replayed those games this summer and I had a lot to say.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you are looking for some great new content from someone who one is an artist themselves, which always helps for Pokemon content, who is very knowledgeable in production and things like that, definitely check out Tam Valley's channel because he's got a lot of fun ideas, great art, and really good at putting videos together. And as you can tell on this, the way he speaks on things is very, very appealing to many people. So definitely go check out his channel, Tam Valley Productions. He's also on Twitter. He's got a Discord. Make sure to check out all those things.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. And so I want to thank you again for being a guest on the show, Tam Valley. I want to thank Jorge Benes for making an amazing theme for the podcast. And I want to thank all you listeners out there that have made it this far. We will be back with another episode in just 2 weeks. So make sure to follow the podcast and watch out for that episode.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yes. Super excited to have you on. It was a very fun time. Until then, check out our past episodes and Tam Valley Productions channel. And most importantly, keep loafing around.